And as much as I can remember, ever since, I'll just say backdating to maybe when we started congregating on these spaces, that the theme of our discussions have been that no person should lose their lives as a result of our different political affiliations. But is that the case? That's an open-ended question. I don't know whether that is the case, but from the sound of what you have experienced, absolutely not, which is very disheartening. I mean, you need to have a heart of stone, not to empathize and sympathize with the family of the Dzamaras. And it really touched my heart when you said Patson's life pretty much ended the time that, or the day that his brother vanished. And the torture of being sent pictures of somebody who kind of looks like your relative in that kind of state that you described there is disheartening. And you end up asking the pertinent question, when will this end? When shall our people be a people again, a one people who all advocate for the same thing, which is a betterment of our country? But anyway, thank you very much. I'm sure there are so many questions, follow-up questions or contributions in relation to the subject that we are discussing today. So I'm going to say the line up is of how I saw the hands coming up. I saw Buster first, and I think the second person that I saw was Anodiwa. So we're going to go Buster, then Anodiwa, then we'll come again with the other people. If you want to engage the advocate, over to you, Buster.
Yeah, thanks, Chorus. Thanks, Advocate, for coming up and unpacking the events, which some of us, we didn't know. Tukutorara hope is everything is okay, but it's quite shocking. My question um, is based on Professor Jonathan Moore. I think you have seen it. He's on record touching about the events or the claims of what did happen to Itai Dzamara. So my question is, I've got two questions from that. What's your comment? Is this just waffling, or is it that Jonathan Moore, since he was part of the system, he can be a crucial part in finding out what exactly happened to Itai Dzamara, since he touched on that issue, or he makes claims that the man has been taken by state security agencies. Could we not use him as a source of information as to what really happened and to where Itai Dzamara can be? I hit my mic. Thanks.
Yeah. We will have Anodiwa give your question as well. Then the advocate will address both or the questions when he gets the mic. Anodiwa, if it is a question. Okay, advocate, go for Buster's questions, please, if you don't mind.
Yes, I mean, like at this point, any person with knowledge and information of what could have happened to Itai is a crucial, is a crucial person. And I hasten to say that when we were doing the investigations as well during that time, Professor Jonathan Moyo was one of the people who actually dismissed Itai Dzamara's abduction. And I was happy not happy, but relieved when he acknowledged that he made an error in dismissing the abduction, because he was saying that Itai had been given some money by some foreign government to disappear himself and all that stuff, which was clearly much ridiculous. Given the passage of time, no one would disappear from the face of earth for 11 years, so to say. And another person as well, Just my phone had been. Another person as well who was peddling falsehoods was this gentleman called Mutodi. Mutodi came up with some kind of like conspiracy alternative to Itai's abduction, saying that Itai is living lavish in Botswana, and he actually mentioned some names of people who were involved in disappearing him, and they were talking about some monies that had been given to Itai and his crew, and it was all like rubbish and very insensitive. Or given that these were people who were the eye of the state institutions at that time, and they were given like some alternative kind of like narratives, so that the public would not take serious the abduction, because one of also the critical issue was like, wow, why would Itai Dzamara be abducted? So for them to peddle all those things into the public, it was more of trying to just sway away from the real issue of what had happened to him. But now coming back to your suggestion, I would say yes, that is a very important figure, because he was part of the government at that particular time when Itai was abducted. So if, let's say, if he was serious about giving us further leads and information, that could be a very very important step forward. uh, but the challenge as it is right now is that Itai's abduction and his search, I would say it has gone beyond individuals like myself, try to take this up, but what we're fighting against was pretty much, we're way outside our our operating environment, and this thing should have pretty much be involved by galvanizing the public itself, so that they can be a buffer of probably victimization, if if you were to be victimized, if the public was pretty much in support or helping out with the investigations. I think this could have helped. So at this point, I would say, if anyone, even including you, Professor Jonathan Samoyo, comes on board, I think it should not be something that is led by probably just a few individuals. It's something that should be at least citizens led, to just say, well, enough is enough. We cannot have a citizen disappearing for 11 years without account. What country can we say we are in when our own very government cannot, even find answers of what, even an alternative, that's the thing, even an official alternative from the government, there's nothing. There's just silence. So, and that silence is affected, and it continues to affect the family, especially Itai Dzamara, who's still, in kind of like limbo of whether to believe that her husband is alive and somewhere, or to just conclude that, Itai is no more, and this is what happened to him. So that kind of like limbo is pretty much a continuous torture of the family, and it ties close friends and relatives.
Anodiwa, are you there?
Mm.
Okay, neutral. Okay, he's here. Anodiwa, over to you.
Yeah, I'm here, but this matter is touching me. So I was thinking, uh, from what the advocate has been presenting here, it shows good this is still an open case to the family, and whatever we are saying is not only sensitive, but to a greater extent, advocate. This is my thinking. We know that in spaces many times the government deploys its agents, and the government could be listening. Confession, yeah, Jonathan Moyo does not exonerate the current regime If this was a Mugabe matter, I think even this regime could have been very apt or open to cooperate on disclosing much information. But information here itaurwa naJonathan Moyo kuti akaiwana kuna Kembo Mohad. Makamboita get hold of it here. Mukaona some substance in it. Or is that information still considered as classified to government, or it is in the public domain? Because Zimbabwe operates access to information, especially on justice platform. But is this matter open to be viewed by anyone? I think that's number one. Then number two, as a family, I know that our discussion here on the space could be very, very scientific in approach, nature, and evidence. But as you were dealing with the family, vakambotry here the cultural, traditional side or religious side, because takaita vana vakadisappear muZimbabwe, but with the intervention of all facets of the society, vakazopedzisira vakwanisa kuwanikwa in pieces and bits. Family yana Itai vakambotora that angle here. Ndine experience patakaurayirwa mwana wedu in almost a similar fashion, though it was not about these demonstrations and so on. Vanhu vakanga vamuponda wekutanga akabatwa ava pabhodha kuenda kuSouth Africa, but haana kubatwa nemapurisa. I think hamenowo zvakangoitika kwaari, ndokubva aita accident, ndokuzoidentifiwa kuti anga ane a lot of detail about our son. And the other 6 more vakangoita futi altercations okuti they were all discovered, but we got a lot of relief from that side of information. I don't know. I don't want to be a bit careless about what we say because tichine maunzu nenyaya iyoyi. And practice iyi haisati yava neassurance kuti government yaimisa, because zvakaitika after 2023 we had a lot of escapage from the same attempts to be kidnapping yevana vetriple C mazuva azvanga zviri kupisa. Saka I'm not sure kuti whether your liberty is unfettered when it comes to the sensitivity of this matter and case, but maybe you may make your comments regarding the public scientific records that could be a requirement to this day. Thank you, Advocate. I know you've been very instrumental for justice in many areas. And I noticed you were mentioning one of my best friends, Mama Mchitaura nezvekesi iyoyi. Andapedza hangu.